Smite brings in the Divine Uprising with a new god in Pantheon. Bless Online decides to break down its premium membership perks. Gameforge announces a new base-building ultra-violence shooter, and it looks like the GDPR has claimed another victim. What's up guys, James Blonde here with a weekly recap for gaming news and announcements for the week of May 18th, 2018, and likely enough for all of us, no Battle Royale news this week other than that one of them was dead on arrival. Boss Key Productions, the studio behind Lawbreakers and the more recent Radical Heights, the Battle Royale, announced on Monday that they are closing their doors for good. In his official statement, Cliffy B gave thanks to those who had supported him in his studio and mentioned needing to take some time to focus on himself and his family. I can totally relate to that. After his struggle with Lawbreakers, with no real attempt at a free-to-play model, or I guess even a Battle Royale version, Cliffy B just decided that it's time to take a break, time to refresh. He posted this statement with his announcement, "Video games will forever be a part of who I am." He continued, "and I hope to make something new again someday. However, I need to withdraw and take this time." At the end of his statement, he mentioned that Radical Heights will actually remain up for the near future. So it's crazy to see an entire studio go under, especially with a big name behind it like Cliffy B. But then again, it's a brutal industry nowadays. And speaking of, Boss Key Production isn't the only shutdown we heard about this past week. The somewhat popular, creatively funny third-person shooter Loadout from Edge of Reality received its final blow recently. According to their official statement on Steam, a couple of fatal blows all happened at the same time. One major one being that Edge of Reality didn't really have the resources to update Loadout to meet the GDPR compliance. This legislation creates a major burden for small companies to do business in the EU, and a big portion of Loadout players happen to come from the EU. While they still want to protect players' privacy, they just couldn't come up with the necessary resources to overhaul the game to meet a large list of new requirements. This, among other things, led to a defeat for Loadout, which is pretty much the same case for Super Monday Night Combat recently. And, you know, here I was thinking that if nearly every game out there is thinking about doing a Battle Royale mode to try and snatch up some of that popularity, I figured Loadout would actually be on that like crazy. I guess they just didn't quite make it that far. Another game who should have pulled the Battle Royale card before it got canned was Chronicle RuneScape Legends. Totally kidding about the Battle Royale part, but I'm not kidding about the Chronicle shutting down. Not really any mention as to why, but then again, any guess is probably right. The game really wasn't all that popular to begin with. According to Jagex, though, they aren't turning out the lights just yet. You do have until August 6th to hop on Steam and see what you probably are not going to miss for very long. Anyway, on to some slightly more positive, less depressing news. Last week we mentioned the new lawn class for Black Desert Online, and this week BDO is hosting a lawn customization contest. To enter, players simply need to pre-customize their lawn character. The best pre-customized character will receive the Orchid Fall Classic set and Merv's Palette for lawn. In addition, players who create their lawn class before the May 23rd regular maintenance patch will receive a 7-day Horse Flute, 3-item collection increased scrolls, and a gold bar. Subscribing to the Black Desert Online newsletter before the next maintenance patch will also grant a 7-day book of combat, a couple of other really cool items, and another gold bar. It looks like you can snag a lot of great items just for pre-making your character, so I figured if you're going to play this class anyway, might as well pre-make your character and not miss out on a lot of cool stuff. On a similar note, in response to player feedback, NeoWiz announced a ton of changes to Bless Online this week. One of the biggest was a detailed breakdown of the premium membership perks. Players who subscribe to the premium membership will receive some premium skins for mounts and pets, a 30% reduction in the NPC equipment repair fee, a 50% reduction in Wyvern usage fees, a gathering bag, and a pickaxe for unlimited usage within its given time period. In addition to these items, players will also receive more dungeon points, hunting experience points, a hunting gold bonus, and an additional 5-item registration slots for the market. NeoWiz gives its assurances that they do not want to offer any pay-to-win advantages for people who are spending money on the game. Now, in case you haven't heard, NeoWiz also confirmed that the game is buy-to-play, so what I just mentioned is in addition to buying the game in the first place. Kind of starting to sound like Elder Scrolls Online, in my opinion. If you want to get a quick feel for what to expect, check out the recent gameplay and impressions video from MMO Huts, linked in the description below. Next up, as I've mentioned in past recaps, Bossa Studios is proud to announce that their latest creation, Worlds Adrift, began early access on May 17th. To celebrate this announcement, Worlds Adrift's very own skyship, a literal skyship, took to the air from noon to 6 p.m. at the Chelsea College of Arts, granting rides to people near London. That's pretty cool. The community-crafted MMO has officially come to life, and its players are excited to shape the world with over 1,000 assets to create their very own island, which they'll have a chance to bring into the game. Worlds Adrift, instead of offering the current fad of procedurally generated content, instead opts to let its players create its world. Of course, that's always fun. This is also the first MMO to be created using Improbable's Spatial OS, in addition to be the first community-built world. Next up, the Japanese developer Soliel has teamed up with the game publisher Gameforge to announce an exciting free-to-play third-person shooter called Rockshot for PC. The game focuses heavily on base building and territory defense, and the announcement trailer you see playing here shows off a heavy number of unique melee weapons, attacks, and finishers. Soliel is staffed by developers who have worked on the Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive series, and Rockshot promises to deliver the same sort of ultra-violence. The game will feature wacky and edgy game modes, characters, and weapons, all free of charge. Rockshot enters Steam Early Access in June of this year, so stay tuned for more details. Also this past week, League of Legends introduced Clash, a new tournament mode for teams. This new mode will allow players of any skill level to play competitively, from Bronze all the way to Challenger. Players will be competing in 3-day tournaments, which are available every 2 weeks for Clash-exclusive rewards. To be eligible for Clash, each player must have a rank, regardless of whatever that rank actually is, and must have an honor level of 2 or greater. Your team's combined skill level places you in a tier, and higher-ranked members pull your tier even higher. So for example, if you're on a team of 4 Bronze players and 1 Platinum player, you'll be facing players on Platinum level. Riot is also implementing ways to avoid smurfing through a phone number verification system to try to keep the tournaments balanced, and when a tournament starts, you'll have 30 minutes to lock in or your team loses their bracket spot. All champions are unlocked in this mode as well, so you can better strategize. As for the prizes, you'll win victory points to spend on those Clash exclusive rewards, including new team logos and banners, and if you win tournaments, you'll get to see your trophies in your Nexus on Summoner's Rift for 2 weeks after each win. Seems like a fun setup. And finally, for some high-res news, patch 5.8 for Smite features the release of the new Slavic god, Chernobog. Chernobog is a promising high-damage hunter that can stack exploding crystals on his targets, as well as shadow travel to them while resetting his cooldowns with his ultimate. It's pretty beast mode. I actually got the chance to play a couple of rounds of Arena with him, and he's pretty fun overall, considering that I really like hunters. The patch also brings with it a handful of exclusive skins, including the new Fat Loki Kabrakan and Chompy Chibi Fenrir. It's also marking off the start of the Divine Uprising event, unveiling Hi-Rez's plans to add 3 new god pantheons to the game as Bellona travels the world to meet these new gods, one being the Slavic pantheon and the other 2 still remain a mystery for now. I'm totally looking forward to new gods and pantheons in the coming updates. Of course, the item and god balance changes for this update are as numerous as always, so check out the full patch notes linked in the description below. Anyway guys, that's about it for all the major news and announcements for this week. Like always, thanks for your support. For more information on the news topics, check the links in the description below. Feel free to discuss the news or even more news in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. But until next time guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.